Hey guys, try to do as best I can. My mom's watching the game right now, but she's also dusting, so she's walking about, and I may have to redo this again for a third time if that happens. But I wanted to come on here and just give my thoughts on, you know, what happened, of course, a little under 48 hours ago with the debate. And pretty much a lot of people have been saying that it was a disaster. And not, for the Republican Party, but mainly for the Democratic Party. And look, even those that defend, and support the Democratic Party, that are Democratic, Democratic, I guess you could say, supported networks or Democratic networks through and through, cable channels, news outlets, even they said it was a disaster because of the fact that when you look at how Biden presented himself, it's like all the smoke and mirrors that the Democratic Party tried to utilize to say, oh, everything's fine, nothing wrong here, kind of use in their own way that meme of that dog sitting in the office and the office is burning to the ground. And he's like, this is fine. All of that got exposed. Now, did Trump basically present himself, any better? You know, presentation wise, yes. Cool and collective at most times, yes. But was he perfect? No. He showed that he can have his flaws, if not tell the truth, if not want to answer certain questions and everything, because it could change people's minds. But everybody's focus was on what happened with Joe. You know, um, Joe basically just showed the country, if not showed the world, that mentally, mentally and cognitively, he can't do this no more. He can't. And look, I was thinking about this in my mind even prior to the debate, and even afterwards. And then this Jesse guy on Fox News, whether you like Fox News or you don't, he came out and he said basically somewhat of what I was thinking. He was talking about, how, certain people are really pulling the strings and just using Biden, to run the country. And then he said something at the end that, Jill Biden, Joe's wife, really loves being president because she, and hold on for a second. Sorry about that. Like I told you, my mom's off, so it's a little hard to do these videos. But anyway, like I was saying, this Jesse guy said basically that Jill Biden, who's one of the people encouraging Joe to stay in this race, and to be the nominee, that she really loves being president. And I thought, and again, the moment he brought that up, I'm thinking, it's ironic that I was kind of thinking something similar along the lines prior, because and I say this with all due respect, no offense. We know that sooner or later we will get a woman president. We will have a lady president. It's pretty much set in stone that's going to happen. No matter how people feel about it, it's going to happen. Whether it's independent, Republican, or Democrat, it's going to happen one way or another. And it did come close to happening back in 2016, but it didn't. Because of her controversial background and everything, that being Hillary. But again, it is going to happen eventually. We're getting towards that moment. We're getting towards that time. And I heard what he had to say, and I'm thinking, you know what, he's right. He is right, because again, I was thinking something similar as well. Down the line, I was thinking something similar down the line, and I'm like, he's right. Jill Biden, Kamala Harris, and to an extent when she was House Speaker, and even to the extent that this is the reason why she's still there, in a sense, showing her support. And this is what Nancy Pelosi has wanted. Nancy, Jill, and Kamala have been wanting. They want to be the ones that run the country. And what they're doing is they're using Joe Biden as a pseudo president. In other words, he's president in name and visually, but in reality, they're the president. Jill is the president. Kamala is the president. Nancy, to an extent, because she probably got the ball rolling in many people's eyes, is the president. So in a way, even though Biden physically and in person and by title officially is the leader, commander-in-chief of this country, in reality, behind the scenes, it's actually Jill, it's actually Kamala, it's actually Nancy. So in a way, they kind of achieved the goal, and that is becoming the first lady presidents of the country. And again, when I heard I heard Jesse bring that up, I'm like, yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right. Jill Biden, wants to be, loves being president. And I know people will hear that, because it's on YouTube. People will hear that, and it'll be like, or if they don't hear it on YouTube, they'll hear it and read about it. They'll look at that and they'll be like, well, if that's the case, then why didn't Nancy run? Why didn't Jill run? Why did Kamala, not stay in the race, to the point that she could be the nominee? It's because of the fact that we're still in a situation to where, again, as I said earlier, it's inevitable. It's set in stone. We are going to get a lady president. That's pretty much a done deal in the very near future. Maybe even by 2028. But the point is, we're still in a situation to where all voters, men and women, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, feel, and again I say it with all due respect, no offense, feel that a woman being president is a risky move, because in a lot of people's eyes, even women included, and again I say it with all due respect, no offense, if we have a woman president in there, she's got to be strong. She's got to be strong. She's basically got to, take any kind of situation and not let her emotions get the best of her. Because if there's one thing a lot of people would say women have, over men, that's always been the, weak point or sign of weakness, is they get too emotional. And again, I say that with all due respect, no offense. But that's the reality, and that's why we have not yet had a lady president. You'd think we'd have one by now. I mean, Harris being, the lady vice president, that's the first step, whether we like it or not. And especially that of, and especially being one of ethnic color, whether we like it or not, that's the first step. The next step is, achieving that ultimate goal. And again, like I said, it's set in stone. It's going to happen. But when you really get down to it, not a lot of people want a woman president in there right now, because they don't feel there's a suitable candidate that can basically be strong enough to control their emotions and not let that get the best of them, because to a lot of people that's a sign of weakness. So I think that's why we have yet to see a female president, but we will, and it's going to happen. But honestly, when you really think about it, we kind of do have one. And it's in the form of Jill Biden, Kamala Harris, and to an extent Nancy Pelosi. But let me know what your thoughts are.